Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got videos today from the Modern King.
So 100,000 women went on strike today in Iceland to demand gender equality. The entire population is 370,000. So over 25% of the population went on strike. And I have some crazy news for you. The economy did not come to a stop, and it continued as normal. The only memo I got was that HR departments were getting no complaints for the 24 hours that the women were on strike. And men were writing that they were really sorry women didn't get gender equality. But I heard one CEO said it was nice to finally get some done, end quote.
If companies can pay women less, why don't they hire all women?
Well, that's a whole nother story.
It's a whole nother story.
I understand your argument, and I understand that you're angry.
I'm not angry.
I can hear it in your voice.
I'm not
Listen to
angry.
your voice.
I'm hearing my voice and I sound pretty calm.
You have now shifted the quality of your voice, and I thank you for that.
Okay.
And you've just given me a condescending look, and that's another reason why we need feminism. And now I'm done, and thank you so much.
Women.
Would you give up your right to vote if it meant you got drafted into the army?
Yes.
Why is it more socially acceptable for women to hate men than it is for men to hate women?
Because men are the devil.
Because men are trash.
If men are more valued in society than women, why would they be the first ones sacrificed in war?
Because they think they're more valued. They're being paid for more for everything, so you put your
I mean, getting paid to die isn't really the greatest thing, by the way.
mind.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Why are the men of today expected to pay for the sins of the men of the past?
Because they still keep making the same mistakes.
So is feminism about revenge?
No, feminism is about our right to be, allowed.
I think there's a base level of equality that we're trying to reach over here, and as long as we can get to that, then I think we're chilling, but we got a long way to go. Wage gaps and absolutely whack.
Stupid.
I always find it funny seeing American women claiming to be oppressed when they can't even name a single right a man has that they don't.
The only right I know is we're allowed to go out in public bare-chested and not get arrested. That's the only one thing I know.
While at the same time admitting they wouldn't be okay with being held to the same requirements that men are. The wage gap has been debunked a long time ago.
It has.
And is just a product of personal choices like occupation and hours worked. If they were actually oppressed in America, they would have better examples to use instead of constantly regurgitating the same debunked claim over and over.
I mean, it's also, they always bring back the past, like women of the past suffered this, women of the past. It's been over 50, 60, 70 years almost since those women have suffered it. You women have not suffered any of this.
Again, if you claim someone is wronging you on a consistent basis, it wouldn't be very difficult to give clear examples of that wrongdoing with evidence to back it up.
Ranking delusional beliefs women have about dating from fantasyland to sometimes true. I deserve a 6'4" CEO model who makes $100,000 a year. That man is like 0.01% of the population and has more options than you can even count. You are not competing for him. You are in line behind a million other women who have the exact same checklist. S tier. I only attract toxic men. At some point, you might want to look in the mirror because if every guy you're attracting is toxic, you might be the pattern. You are either picking them or creating the toxicity yourself. B tier. Where are all the good men? Well, they're probably in your DMs right now, but you just called them nice or too boring. And look, maybe they are, but what you're asking for is there. But you won't look twice until you're 34 and the roster has dried up. C tier. I want a traditional man, but I am not traditional. She wants him to pay, lead, and protect, but
Probably
cooking, cleaning, or submitting to anything, nah, that's oppression. Pick a lane. You can't have 1950s benefits with modern day expectations. S tier. I bring a lot to the table. Ask her what she brings to the table and she will buffer like a broken Wi-Fi connection. My presence, energy, and vibes, that's not a contribution that is showing up. Meanwhile, her checklist for you is probably 3 pages long. A tier. I can change him. Here's the thing. Sometimes women do help men level up, but there's a big difference between bringing out his potential and building a man from scratch. One works, the other is just going to burn you out. D tier. All men are trash. She's not dating all men. She is dating the same guy with a different name 6 times in a row. I don't know about you, but after a while, maybe the trash collector is the problem here. A tier. If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. This quote sometimes looks an awful lot like a red flag disguised as a standard. If her worst is emotional warfare at 2 a.m. and her best is tolerable for a weekend, run. C tier. Height doesn't matter. Says height isn't a big deal, but her Hinge bio says must be 6 foot minimum to ride. Her words and actions are living in 2 completely different zip codes. A tier. Men are intimidated by me. Sometimes they might not actually be intimidated and they just don't want the headache. Labeling yourself as intimidating sounds like a lot better of an excuse than just saying you're hard to deal with. B tier. Body count doesn't matter for women. Typically the ones that are saying this are the ones that don't want theirs to count against them.
Because they have large amounts.
Tell that to any guy who's thinking long term and watch his face. If it really didn't matter, nobody would lie about it. A tier.
Notice how he could give clear examples of what he was talking about.
Yep.
And wasn't intentionally vague. It's because he was confident in what he was saying and knew he wasn't simply making it up out of the blue. Intentional vagueness is nothing more than a tactic to conceal a lack of substance and protect a weak argument from criticism.
Women in this country still make 77 cents on the dollar for what men make. So if women don't make less than men?
Actually, if you start looking at the numbers, Rachel, there are lots of reasons for that.
Oh, wait. Well, don't tell me the reasons are. Do women make less than men for doing the same work?
No, because...
Wow.
Okay. Well, for example, men work an average of 44 hours a week. Women work 41 hours a week. Men go into professions like engineering, science, and math that earn more. Women want more flexible
Listen, this is not a math is hard.
No. Yes, it is, actually.
No, it isn't.
Well,
No, listen.
All right, let Rachel frame it, though, the way she
right now,
laid it out.
women are making 77 cents on the dollar for what men are making.
But that's not true. If so,
all right, let Rachel make her point.
Every greedy businessman in America would hire only women, save 25%. And I love how passionate you are. I wish you were as right about what you're saying as you are passionate about it. I really do. For example, may I share one fact with you? When you look at, for example, single women working in America today between the ages of, I think, 40 and 64, who makes more, men or women, on average? Men make $40,000 a year. Women make 47. When you take out the marriage factor, look at some economics. My point here is that we're manufacturing a political crisis.
Let's nip this man versus bear conversation in the bud right now. The question is, would you rather be in the forest alone with a man or a bear? Not a forest or a bear. What percentage of men do y'all think are
They seem to think like 50% plus. Like that's what a lot of women seem to think.
what's really getting to me, because y'all make it seem like it's a 50% chance. Like,
they really do.
He might not. Have you lost your mind?
They
Before y'all answer that in the comments, because it is a question and I do want an answer, what percentage of men do y'all think are? And when you answer, I want you to put it in the form of a sentence of the men that are in your life. So that way we can bring this back to reality. So I want you to say, of my 3 brothers, 2 of them are. Of my 6 male cousins, 3 of them are. Of my 5 male friends, 2 of them are. I want you to give me those numbers. And I think about this in real life because I have brothers in real life. And if somebody out there chose to be in the forest with a bear as opposed to one of my brothers because you thought there was even a chance that one of them might you.
I mean, shout outs to the women that are defending their brothers, their husbands, and their fathers.
Fight me right now. No, fight me right now.
What do you bring to the table? When I hear a man ask women that question, it already tells me about that man everything I need to know. So let me just clarify something here. Women sacrifice so much in relationships, giving birth, raising children, putting dreams on hold, carrying the emotional weight, holding the home together while still showing up with love. Women pour from empty cups day after day. So here's the question nobody likes to ask out loud. What can a man sacrifice for a woman?
Everything. His
See,
life?
This is what I call twisting the meaning, changing the whole point of the discussion to paint men in a bad light. When guys ask, what do you bring to the table, they're not asking women who are good partners. They're not talking about the women who raise kids, build a home, support.
He's 100% correct. We don't ask those women the ones, that particular questions. We ask women that we don't have a clue if you have those abilities or not.
Their men and make sacrifices. Those women clearly bring a lot to the table, and most men respect them deeply. But let's be honest, that's not the majority. Most women today who are in their relationships aren't giving birth, raising multiple kids, or putting their careers on hold. Maybe in a marriage, more women do. But even then, we are living in a time with the lowest birth rates in modern history. So let's stop pretending that every woman is out there sacrificing everything for love and family. And even in a scenario she described, let's say a woman is raising kids and supporting her family. Great, but what about the man? He's probably working 10-12 hours a day, taking care of financial responsibilities, protecting the family, fixing things, solving problems, and still being expected to stay strong through it all. He sacrifices
and still give love and affection.
Sleep, time, peace of mind, and years of his life to provide for his family. But somehow, that's invisible, and that's the manipulation right here. Framing it as if only women give and men just take. when in reality, in most healthy relationships, both sides give a lot.
Yes.
The truth is, when men ask, what do you bring to the table, they're talking about the women who don't contribute anything, the ones who expect everything to be handed to them just for existing, the ones who think that showing up is enough. If you are a woman who actually puts effort, builds with her man, shows empathy, and brings peace, few men would question your value. But if all you offer is attitude and expectations, don't be surprised when someone asks, what do you bring to the table?
My Asian brothers out here doing God's work.
Meanwhile, I will ask my man to do anything for me, but I swear to you, the moment that he asks me to do anything, I'm irritated. And it could be the simplest task, like, oh, could you rinse this cup out for me?
This is why we say juice ain't worth the squeeze. Why even bother with someone with this kind of attitude that doesn't even want to reciprocate anything? She wants to ask you everything under the sun, but you can't even ask her for the basic of maybe giving you a kiss or making you some food.
For me, because you're right there by the sink. Pissed. Instantly pissed. Or, oh, you know, could you go hand me a towel because I forgot to grab it? Why the did you not grab that towel?
Y'all is like, and it's weird too, because like it's the ugliest, biggest girls that have the biggest bravado that they think they deserve. What?
Such bad people.
Right?
Like no jokes. Like, y'all are actually just bad people. I was expecting to look at the comments, and the comments were going to be like, on her neck, no. Me AF, no me. He does everything for me. I've been working on it though. As hell, we are unreasonable. They gonna come for you, but this is a lot of us. Me, I'm trying to be nicer. Y'all are genuinely y'all just ain't. Like actually, of course.
No, it's horrible people co-signing horrible behavior of other horrible people.
Of course you're the problem. Of course you're the problem. Your man deserves better. I would say I wish he would leave you, but I saw that y'all had a kid together. But if he leave he the bad guy. He the bad guy.
I understand the Tyler and Jordan situation because something similar happened to me back in 2022. I was talking to this African and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna be in your city January 31st. Let's kick it. I was like, okay, cool. I gave him my number and he was like, yeah, I just want to hang out with you for like an hour and we do a little Snow White. How much is that? I was like, oh, I'll let it go for about $400. He was like, oh, okay, cool. So I come through there, we start skating, and before I know it, I'm really feeling real euphoric. Like, I don't know what he mixed it with, but I was feeling super myself. I was feeling myself, like just really feeling myself. I don't know what happened, but all I know is I did not leave there in an hour. I left there the next day. Why is it February 1st? So I was like, oh, you played with me. You really didn't have to do all that. And I started feeling weird about the whole situation. I started regretting the whole situation. I was like, you know what? You're going to have to come up off of more than $400. And he was just like, nah, here's your money. And yeah, you got a dip. And I was just like, oh, you don't want to pay me more? And he was like, no. I was like, you know what? You ain't got to fight me. You're going to have to fight these allegations. So what I allegedly did is I went to the hospital, got a drug test, got an R kit, and I texted him and I was just like, hey, I felt really weird about that whole situation. I didn't appreciate it. And
this is why I just hire professionals, man. Just deal with professionals. You know, like, again, I'm not trying to tell you. I'm not pushing people to just pay for cat. I'm not really trying to do that. But when I see things like this, just protect yourselves.
you know what? Since you didn't want to come off of what you agreed on, it's all good and dandy. Just know that there are going to be repercussions of what you did. And that man said nothing to me but this. This is what he had to say to me. I allegedly say all this to say, Jordan, you did all this to accomplish something, but you didn't execute it right. And Talil, this is a lesson.
And you go in the comments and there's women backing up that behavior. Here's the thing, this woman gets online and she admits to not one, but 3 different crimes. The first one being, she agreed to sell her for $400, whatever, great, that's her business, but it's still illegal. She goes and she does a list voluntarily with the man to admit that she feels euphoric, so she probably did excess amount of sex. She wakes up the next day and says she regrets the situation. She didn't regret the situation, she saw an opportunity.
Yep.
He paid her the $400 that they agreed upon. It wasn't enough because she saw said opportunity, so she decided to go down to the police department and file a false allegation against the man. So of course, panic, he acquiesces to her request and pays her what she's asked for after the initial agreement. This is exactly why a lot of us don't believe all women initially when they come out with
the extortion. Like, she literally made a video about how she extorted a man and nothing's happening to her. It's pure extortion. That is a federal crime with serious jail time. She recorded all of it and posted it. Still not in jail, still no consequences, guys. Bull fucking shit.
Allegations. I wait for evidence to come out because of women, disgusting, demonic women like this, who get on here and promote extorting people. Understand? Promoting a lifestyle of selling your body to young women. Not only selling your body to young women, but then going one step further to extorting the men that you've agreed upon to buy your services. You don't think this won't end well for some of these young ladies? Let's just not even talk about how morally reprehensible it is to go down to the police department and file a false obligation against a person because you stayed up all night doing and you woke. Y'all ladies gonna have to start getting charged for these fake obligations.
Can we just have the FBI just comb through women's freaking TikToks and how much they've told on themselves? Can we just do that, please? Because how many women should actually be in jail for the crimes they've committed that they recorded themselves admitting to?
In my opinion, they're both clowns. This is a prime example of exactly what not to do if you have any amount of common sense. I am a strong believer in trying your best to avoid problematic situations beforehand, rather than engaging in degeneracy and hoping for the best. This goes for all situations, not just this one. Now we know she most likely isn't going to face any repercussions, despite openly admitting to different crimes.
Yep.
But if she does this again, her video could be used as evidence.
Why does the average man think that he could fully beat a professional female fighter?
Well, that's because 99.9% of the time, they absolutely can.
Yep.
And I know hearing that is going to upset some out there, but those are probably the same ones that are getting upset that like to avoid things like factual information and basic biology. It's either that or they've been watching way too many action films and actually believe it when the 120-pound female heroine actually manages to defeat the 220-pound male villain using nothing but skill alone. It's either that or they have no concept of reality.
That last one was diabolical, right? Again, women selling their cat, illegal, doing illegal drugs, and then spending the night, and then sees an opportunity how to get more money out of you or out of that person. Again, if men were doing this, Tinder swindler, jail time, news articles everywhere of man just using women. Nope. Women get to do it, extort men constantly, and men just have to shut the fuck up about it, it seems. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And catch you guys next time. Ciao.